Welcome to my channel. I'm Rose, bringing you the latest shocking updates on Sister Wives. Unexpected twists, emotional moments, and unbelievable drama. Stay tuned till the end. In a deeply emotional and soul-stirring turn of events, the Brown family, well known for their long-standing presence on the hit TLC show Sister Wives, has recently opened up about one of the darkest chapters in their lives, the untimely death of Robert Garrison Brown. Garrison, the son of Yanel Brown and Kody Brown, tragically passed away earlier this year, and the family has since been grappling with a loss that has shaken them to the core. But now, with raw courage and tearful honesty, Yanel and her daughter Madison Maddie Brush are speaking out about their heartbreak, their regrets, and the legacy of the young man who meant the world to them. Garrison's death sent shockwaves not just through the Brown family, but through the entire Sister Wives fan community. At only 25 years old, Garrison was a vibrant, loving, and bright soul whose future seemed full of promise. A National Guard veteran, animal lover, and aspiring homeowner, Garrison had carved out a life of quiet independence and determination despite the often chaotic family dynamics that played out on national television for over a decade. And while Garrison had at times appeared to be in the background during Sister Wives episodes, his presence was anything but forgettable to those who knew him intimately. In a poignant new video message shared on social media and TLC's platforms, Yanel Brown finally let her guard down in a way fans had rarely seen. Fighting through tears, she shared that the days following Garrison's passing were filled with unimaginable pain, silence, and a haunting sense of unfinished conversations. "I don't even have the words," she began, her voice trembling. "There are no words that could ever explain the hole in my heart." Garrison was light, even when he didn't know it. He was joy. He was laughter. He was stubborn as hell, but he was always there for you. The grief etched on Yanel's face painted a clearer picture than any words ever could. The mother of six had always been known as the grounded, no-nonsense figure among the Sister Wives, practical, independent, and strong. But Garrison's death broke something deep inside her, exposing the raw and fragile humanity underneath that steel exterior. She admitted that while she had always supported her children in being outspoken and self-sufficient, she now finds herself questioning everything. "I wish I had called more. I wish I had just shown up at his house unannounced, even when he would have rolled his eyes and said, 'Mom, I'm fine.' Because maybe he wasn't fine," she said softly, dabbing tears away. "We get so caught up in respecting space and independence that sometimes we forget our kids still need us, even when they say they don't." Perhaps the most painful parts of Yanel's revelations centered around the emotional distance that had slowly grown between Garrison and his father, Kody Brown. Their strained relationship had become more public during the COVID-19 pandemic when Garrison and his brother Gabriel openly resisted Kody's strict rules. That fracture seemed never to heal completely, and it cast a dark shadow over the family's dynamic in the years that followed. Yanel hesitated but eventually acknowledged that unresolved family tension may have contributed to Garrison's emotional isolation. "We were all so focused on survival, physical, emotional, financial. And in that survival mode, I think we all missed signs. I missed signs. I failed to recognize that he was not just mad at his dad. He was hurt. Deeply hurt." Maddie Brush, Garrison's older sister and Yanel's firstborn, also stepped forward in an emotional Instagram post that quickly went viral. Her words struck a chord with thousands who had followed the family's journey. Maddie's message wasn't polished or rehearsed, it was raw, unfiltered pain. "I lost my brother. My children lost their uncle. And the world lost someone who could make you laugh until you cried," she wrote. "I don't think I'll ever forget the last time I saw him. He hugged me like he knew. Like he needed to make it count. And I didn't realize it then. But I do now." Maddie shared stories of Garrison's unwavering loyalty, his relentless work ethic, and his passion for animals. In recent months, he had begun fostering cats and volunteering at shelters. "He didn't talk about it much," Maddie explained, "but I think helping animals gave him peace. They didn't judge. They didn't leave. They just loved." One particularly heartbreaking moment came when Maddie recounted a time when Garrison had confessed feeling like the extra wheel in a family that was growing apart. He said, "Sometimes I feel like I'm just filling space in other people's lives. Like if I disappeared, it wouldn't even be a big deal." Maddie paused before writing, "If only he knew how wrong he was." The sorrow doesn't end with just the loss, it stretches into the questions that will never be answered. What could they have done differently? Was Garrison crying for help in ways they didn't see? Could a phone call, a visit, a conversation have changed the outcome? These are the thoughts that plague Yanel and Maddie day after day. In the weeks following Garrison's passing, Yanel has dedicated herself to raising awareness about mental health, especially among young veterans. She revealed that while Garrison had never been formally diagnosed with PTSD, his time in the National Guard had left a mark. "He never talked about it in detail," she said, "but I saw things in his eyes sometimes. Like he had seen something number 20-something should ever see. And we didn't talk enough about that." Yanel has since started partnering with veterans advocacy organizations, hoping that her platform can help save even one life. She wants Garrison's story to be more than a tragic headline. "If telling the world how I failed my son can stop another mother from going through this, then I'll shout it from the rooftops every day." Maddie, too, has turned her grief into action. She recently hosted a live Q&A with a mental health professional on her social media page, encouraging open conversations about depression, isolation, and asking for help. "Let's stop pretending it's weakness to need someone," she told viewers. "Because I promise you, strength isn't about walking alone. It's about knowing when to reach out." The Sister Wives community has responded with overwhelming support. Fans have shared their own stories of loss, grief, and regret. Thousands have donated to shelters in Garrison's name, and hashtags like #JusticeForGarrison and #MentalHealthMatters have flooded platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. However, the pain remains fresh. Yanel confessed she still hasn't touched Garrison's room. "His boots are still by the door. His keys are on the hook. And I still half expect to hear him stomping in, complaining that I've been texting too much," she said with a sad smile. Grief is weird like that, it messes with your sense of reality. As for Kody Brown, the family patriarch has remained mostly silent since the tragedy, only releasing a short statement expressing heartbreak and requesting privacy. But some sources close to the family suggest that he is struggling with overwhelming guilt over the rift between him and his son. Whether or not he will speak publicly remains to be seen, but the silence itself speaks volumes. For now, Yanel and Maddie continue to hold on to each other, navigating their new normal one breath at a time. They find moments of comfort in old videos, shared memories, and the outpouring of love from fans. But the wound left by Garrison's absence is a deep one that may never fully heal. "He was my boy," Yanel said quietly at the end of her video. "He was my sunshine. And now I have to find a way to live without that sunshine. But I promise I'll carry him with me every single day." The world now sees a different side of the Brown family, one not centered around plural marriage, family politics, or reality TV drama, but a side defined by love, loss, and humanity. Through heartbreak, Yanel and Maddie have opened the door to a vital conversation, one that reminds us all to check in, to reach out, and to hold our loved ones close. Because sometimes, the strongest among us are the ones hurting the most quietly. And sometimes just saying "I love you, I'm here" can make all the difference. The Brown family of Sister Wives fame has been under the microscope for years, with viewers scrutinizing every detail of their personal lives, relationships, and family dynamics. One topic that has quietly brewed in the background, however, has now emerged to the surface. Did Kody Brown, the patriarch of the family, shun his eldest son Logan out of jealousy? At first glance, it might seem unthinkable. Kody, a father of 18 children, has long promoted the image of a devoted, if somewhat unconventional, parent. He has spoken at length about his belief in family unity, teamwork, and the principle that guided the plural marriage he led for decades. But behind the polished interviews and TLC camera lens, a different story appears to be simmering, one that casts a spotlight on his relationship or lack thereof with Logan Brown. Logan, the eldest child of Kody and Yanel Brown, was once a prominent figure in the early seasons of Sister Wives. A bright, focused, and responsible young man, Logan often appeared more mature than his age, frequently helping care for his younger siblings and acting as a pillar of stability amid the family's frequent relocations and drama. He was widely praised by fans for his leadership qualities, and some even believed he was the real man of the house in ways that Kody never seemed to be. But somewhere along the way, Logan all but vanished from the screen and from Kody's narrative. His absence grew louder, more noticeable. There was no major fallout on camera, no shocking confrontation, but viewers could sense it. Something had changed. Logan had chosen to stay in Las Vegas, build his own life, pursue a stable career in business, and later get engaged and married without the spotlight of sister wives. While most parents might celebrate such maturity, there was little to no acknowledgement from Kody. It was as though Logan had quietly exited the stage and Kody never looked back. Theories began to swirl. Could it be that Kody felt threatened by his own son's success? Did Logan's independence highlight Kody's shortcomings as a provider, protector, and leader? The idea of Kody being jealous of his own son might sound harsh, but this wouldn't be the first time that viewers questioned Kody's ability to handle strong, independent personalities within his family. To understand the depth of this possible estrangement, we have to look back at how Logan's role in the Brown family evolved over time. From the very beginning of Sister Wives, Logan stood out. Unlike some of the other children who struggled with the complexities of plural family life, Logan appeared grounded. He excelled in school, took care of his siblings, and tried to shield his mother Yanel from emotional stress. When Kody's attention was split, often unevenly, among his wives and children, Logan quietly stepped up. He became a second father figure in the household, but without fanfare or recognition. Fans often remarked how Logan seemed more emotionally present and consistent than Kody, especially during moments of crisis. When Kody was caught up in his courtship of Robyn or embroiled in drama with Christine or Mary, Logan was helping his mother keep the younger kids on track. That kind of dependability did not go unnoticed by viewers, or perhaps by Kody himself. As Logan grew older, the differences between him and Kody became more apparent. Where Kody was impulsive, Logan was measured. Where Kody was emotional and theatrical, Logan was stoic and practical. And most significantly, where Kody chased attention and approval through cameras and conflict, Logan chose a quieter path. He distanced himself from the show, from the fame, and even from the toxic cycles that plagued the Brown family dynamic. In doing so, he may have unintentionally triggered something deep within his father: insecurity. It's no secret that Kody has struggled with his sense of identity in recent years. As his marriages fell apart, first with Christine, then Yanel, and later Mary, Kody's frustration and bitterness became more pronounced. He lashed out at those who questioned his authority, resented those who chose independence, and tried to maintain control through guilt and emotional manipulation. When Christine left, he painted her as disloyal. When Yanel voiced concerns, he claimed she was being combative. But what do you do when your own child walks away, not in anger but in quiet rejection? Logan's choice to live life on his terms, to build a future outside the family's emotional chaos, wasn't a dramatic rebellion. It was a calm, confident exit. And perhaps that's what stung the most. There were no accusations, no ultimatums, just silence. Logan didn't need Kody's approval, and in a family built around obedience and hierarchy, that might have felt like a betrayal. Even during major milestones in Logan's life, such as his engagement to Michelle Petty and his wedding, Kody's involvement appeared minimal. Fans noticed that while Yanel proudly shared photos and celebrated Logan's accomplishments, Kody remained largely silent. It wasn't just his absence that sparked rumors, it was the lack of public acknowledgement, the way Logan's achievements were downplayed or ignored entirely. For a man who once craved the spotlight, Kody's silence on Logan's life spoke volumes. This absence prompted speculation that there might be more beneath the surface. Was Kody punishing Logan for stepping out of the family's narrative? Was his silence a reflection of deeper resentment? Adding to the intrigue is how differently Kody interacts with some of his other children, particularly those with Robyn. Over the years, viewers have pointed out Kody's favoritism toward Robyn's children, often at the expense of his other kids. The contrast became especially stark as more of his older children, including Gabriel, Garrison, and even Isabel, began expressing frustration with Kody's absence and inconsistent parenting. In this context, Logan's decision to pull away starts to feel less like an isolated choice and more like a pattern. one in which the children who challenge Kody's authority or no longer seek his approval quietly disappear from his emotional orbit. Yanel, for her part, has never spoken publicly about any rift between Kody and Logan, but her social media presence speaks volumes. She beams with pride when talking about Logan. She gushes over his accomplishments, shares family photos, and celebrates his milestones with genuine joy. It's clear that Logan remains close to his mother and siblings, even if his relationship with Kody is strained or non-existent. The emotional distance became even more apparent in recent seasons of Sister Wives, where Kody's focus narrowed almost entirely to Robyn and her children. He spoke less and less about his older children. He appeared to have little interest in their lives unless it directly impacted his own narrative. Viewers couldn't help but notice how many of the children seemed to have outgrown Kody's influence, or walked away from it altogether. Logan's story then becomes something larger than just a father-son rift. It becomes a mirror of the Brown family's slow unraveling, a symbol of what happens when emotional neglect and controlling behavior are met not with rebellion, but with calm detachment. Logan didn't need to fight Kody, he just needed to live differently. And in doing so, he may have delivered the most powerful message of all. Still, the question remains, was Kody truly jealous of Logan? Jealousy isn't always loud or violent. Sometimes it's quiet. It's the silence at weddings. It's the lack of phone calls. It's the avoidance of public praise. It's the refusal to acknowledge someone's growth because that growth reflects what you failed to nurture. Kody's silence toward Logan might not be just about distance, it might be about shame. The shame of watching your son become the kind of man you couldn't be. In the world of Sister Wives, where family has often been a performance and unity a facade, Logan's disappearance from the spotlight doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like a deliberate choice by both him and possibly by Kody. If Logan had stayed and challenged his father more directly, it would have been easy for Kody to cast him as a rebel or a villain. But Logan chose a harder path. He left quietly, built his life peacefully, and refused to play into the drama. And perhaps that's what made him the biggest threat of all. As time moves on, it's unclear whether Kody and Logan will ever reconcile. But for now, the silence between them tells its own story. A story of missed connections, unspoken resentments, and the quiet power of walking away from dysfunction. While Kody continues to wrestle with the crumbling pieces of his family, Logan seems to have already found his peace, and that, in the end, might be what makes him unforgettable. Now the spotlight is back, and fans are asking questions that can no longer be ignored. If Logan wasn't welcomed in Kody's emotional circle, was it really because he turned his back, or because Kody couldn't handle being overshadowed by his own son? One thing's for sure, the longer Kody remains silent, the louder Logan's quiet success will echo. And maybe, just maybe, that's the legacy Logan Brown was always meant to leave.